So you're not feeling great. Maybe you've got a fever, a weird rash, or you're coughing like a Victorian ghost. You know what you need? A doctor. But not just any doctor. Oh no. Let's go back in time to the Middle Ages, where medical school was basically just reading Aristotle and hoping for the best. Welcome to 9 medieval disease treatments that would absolutely kill you today. Spoiler, most of them involved fire, knives, or poop, sometimes all three. Buckle up. X1. Bloodletting. Because obviously, the solution to weakness is more weakness. Let's start with the absolute Beyoncé of medieval medicine, bloodletting. This was the go-to move for literally everything. Headache? Bloodletting. Sore throat? Bloodletting. Your soul feels sad? Guess what? Grab the leeches. The logic was simple. Humans have 4 humors: blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. And if you're sick, it's because they're out of balance. So naturally, draining your life force onto the floor seemed like a great idea, and doctors weren't gentle about it either. They used knives, razors, or if you were fancy, leeches, because nothing says healing like a slug chewing on your veins. And the best part? If you survived the treatment, it was proof it worked. If you died, well, guess you were just too sick, or not rich enough for good leeches. 2. Trepanation. The let's drill a hole in your skull method. Got migraines. Seizures? A demon whispering mean things in your ear? There's a hole for that. Trepanation, or as I like to call it, medieval DIY brain surgery, involved. Literally drilling a hole into your skull to let out the bad spirits, or excess pressure, or, I don't know, your last functioning brain cell. Shockingly, some people actually survive this, which just proves 2 things. 1, humans are weirdly durable, and 2, people in the Middle Ages were out here living like it was an episode of House, but with way more screaming. Imagine showing up at your doctor's office today with a headache and he pulls out a power drill. That's the energy we're talking about here. 3. Drinking mercury. Because shiny or healthy, right? Mercury. Literal liquid metal. The thing your science teacher told you never to touch. Now imagine drinking it. On purpose. Back in the day, mercury was seen as this magical, mysterious substance. It moved like a liquid but looked like a mirror, so naturally it had to be good for you. Kings and nobles would chug mercury to treat syphilis, skin diseases, or just for that extra glow. Spoiler, it didn't end well. Mercury is insanely toxic. It destroys your organs, your brain, and eventually your ability to stand upright without drooling on yourself. But hey, at least they looked fancy while dying painfully. E4. Applying animal dung, because nothing says healing like warm cow poop. Let's talk about one of the most aromatic treatments out there, slathering yourself in animal dung. Cow dung, pig dung, goose dung. Everyone had their favorite. It was applied to wounds, burns, swelling, and probably emotional trauma too. Why? Because it was warm, mushy, and full of natural healing properties, which is medieval code for I made this up on the spot. The result? Infections. So many infections. It's like inviting every bacteria in the barnyard to a party in your bloodstream. Honestly, it's amazing anyone survived long enough to invent penicillin. T5. Burning herbs in your face. The medieval essential oil diffuser, but aggressive people in the Middle Ages were very into smells, especially the idea that bad smells caused disease. Enter fumigation. If you were sick, your doctor might stuff you in a room and light a bunch of herbs, spices, or sometimes straight-up sulfur, and just let it burn while you sat there breathing in the fumes. It was believed the smoke would cleanse your body, your air, and possibly your sins. In reality, it gave you a nasty case of smoke inhalation and probably made your lungs feel like a BBQ pit. Think of it as aromatherapy meets torture. 6. The dead man's touch. Not creepy at all, we promise. Got a tumor? Or a cyst? Or some weird bump that's making you nervous? No worries. Just let a freshly executed criminal touch it. Problem solved. Seriously, there was this belief that the hand of a recently hanged man had healing powers, so people would gather at executions and rush the body to rub it on their problems. Imagine going to your local pharmacy and asking for one dead guy, lightly used. It's bizarre, it's gross, and yes, people totally swore by it. Honestly, I don't know what's worse, the superstition, or the fact that this was often considered safer than actual medical procedures. 7. Burying yourself in manure. Nature's spa day. Yes, this one's real. People actually believed that lying in warm manure could draw out fevers and cure diseases. Why manure? Because it was natural and warm, and possibly because everyone in the Middle Ages was just trying their best in a world without Google. So they dig a hole, fill it with poop, and then tuck themselves in like it was a cozy blanket of fermented regret. The logic: heat draws out illness. The reality: you're lying in poop. Congratulations, you now have tetanus, dysentery, and a new appreciation for modern medicine. 8. Amputating everything. When in doubt, cut it off. Got an infected finger? Chop it off. Stubbed your toe? Let's remove the leg, just in case. Surgeons in the Middle Ages had two modes: wait and pray, or slice it off and hope for the best. They didn't have anesthesia, antiseptics, or a basic understanding of germs. But boy did they have knives. Amputations were fast, brutal, and often done in public for maximum drama. If you survived the blood loss and didn't die of infection, congratulations. You now had a 50-50 chance of living, but also 0 fingers. And somehow, this was still considered better than most other options. 9. The Plague Doctor Cure. Look creepy and hope for the best. Let's finish strong with the iconic Plague Doctor. You know the look: long black robe, wide-brimmed hat, and a beak mask that made them look like a goth flamingo. Inside the beak, herbs, spices, flowers, anything to mask the stench of the dying. Plague doctors weren't real doctors. Most were just volunteers or random people desperate enough to take the gig. Their job was to poke the sick, take notes, and try not to die. Their treatments included bleeding, burning incense, popping buboes with knives, UW, and feeding patients mixtures of vinegar and crushed emeralds. Because apparently dying from the plague wasn't bad enough, you had to taste bad on the way out too. But hey, they looked cool. So, there you have it. 9 medieval treatments that make WebMD look like the voice of reason. And before you laugh too hard, remember, these were the best ideas people had at the time. And in 500 years, people will probably look back at us and go, wait, they put acid on their face for skincare? They got their spines cracked for fun? They drank milk with added protein? What the hell is almond milk? Progress is weird. Humanity is weirder. But at least you're not rubbing cow poop on your wounds and calling it healing energy. If you enjoyed this deep dive into medieval medical chaos, give the video a like, subscribe for more delightful historical disasters, and maybe go hug your doctor. Or at least thank them for not being a leech enthusiast with a bone saw. Catch you next time, preferably in a timeline with penicillin.